The British government's plan to send asylum seekers to Rwanda faces a legal challenge in the High Court did face a legal challenge in High Court on Monday. Protesters gathered outside Britain's High Court as it heard a legal challenge over government plans to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda.
Human rights groups and labor unions filed several lawsuits arguing that the policy is illegal and immoral. The lawsuits forced former Prime Minister Boris Johnson to cancel the first planned deportation in mid-June. You know, what this reminds us is the fact that we as Africans need to look out for ourselves. We've had this conversation several times on the show, and how a lot of people feel the need to flee from the country for several reasons. And if we made our continent more habitable for its citizens, you know, put the right structures in place, legally and otherwise, economically, set up frameworks that made Africans prioritize and feel like they are first-class citizens in their own continent, there'd be less need to run out of the country. Now, one of the rules of the UK as regards asylum is that you must be afraid that if you return to your home country, you know, you would face persecution. Mm-hmm. So some of these people, you know, there are conversations about human rights violations that have been sparked up as a result of this. But we will certainly be...
Well, I mean, the defense really is... I did, you know, read a couple of things yesterday about whether Rwanda is safe for asylum seekers, because that's really the argument, that Rwanda is not safe for asylum seekers, and that it's a one-party, you know, government, a one-party, you know, state. They almost called it a dictatorial state, where there's no voice of the opposition, and people who oppose the government or criticize government are jailed and some of all of that. You know, that's basically the picture that was painted, you know. So Rwanda itself has not really also been seen as a safe haven or as a, you know, very peaceful place for asylum seekers. You know, on the other hand, of course, the UK has spent so much money in taking care of migrants, illegal migrants who come into the UK every year. You know, I think they were talking about spending about £1.5 billion, you know, in 1 year just taking care of, you know, asylum seekers. They plan to send about £120 million to Rwanda to help with the first tranche, because Rwanda has offered to take 1,000 at first, and then we would see how that, after that trial, then they can take more. But it's just, I mean, I don't know, you know, how this will end. Yeah. You know, I'm also not sure why they picked Rwanda, you know, because I can imagine, you know, I can imagine trying to, of course, you know, find greener pastures in Europe and all of that, and they send you back to Rwanda. I don't know.
Well, to be honest, I mean, this is not the first time we're seeing it in different ways. Whilst there's a threat of deportation in the UK, the other time we spoke about what's happening in South Africa, and South Africans, you know, the Limpopo MEC saying to the foreigner, the Zimbabwean woman, that, you know, Emerson Mnangagwa is not giving us money to take care of you. Go back to your country. Yeah. What we're seeing is, or what this is reminding us of, is that governments of different countries on the continent need to stand up and take responsibility for the health, security, safety, and welfare of its citizens, or else we're going to keep getting embarrassed on the public scene like this.
Yeah, and I 100% agree, because a week doesn't go by that we don't talk about migrants found on the Mediterranean or rescued on the Mediterranean, and these are, you know, 80% or 90% of them are from, you know, Africa. So yes, states across the continent need to do better to take care of their citizens, so we stop, you know, having people run off or try to run off. And, you know, well, I don't know how this will end. You know, now they have a new prime minister. We'll see how this goes.
All right, we'll be, of course, bringing the updates on that story.